Hey guys, JMN here, welcome to my channel. Today we have another classic review in my From the Past series. This time we take a look at Negatobochi by the alternative rockers Plastic Tree. As always, we will have a quick overview about the band's history before we take a closer look at the album. People who hear the name for the first time may think it sounds familiar. There's an old song called Fake Plastic Trees on the second album, The Bends, by the famous British rock band Radiohead. Actually, it is true that the melancholic music style of Radiohead became a big influence for Plastic Tree. However, the name was an original creation. The band from the Chiba Prefecture was formed in 1993 by Ryutaro Arimura and Tadashi Hasegawa. After trying different names like Camouflage or Entity Fucks, they quickly settled down on Plastic Tree. This was 1 year before the Radiohead song was even released. After a few demos, they released their first mini-album Strange Fruits, which got the attention of the major label Warner Music Japan. There they released their first singles and albums. Back at the time they were a part of the Visual Kei scene and had strong influences from British post-punk bands like The Cure, but over the time they slowly transitioned into a normal rock band. Through the 23 years of their existence, they changed labels multiple times and released 13 albums, 2 mini-albums and almost 40 singles. Naturally, their sound went through different phases. Some albums were more alternative rock and grunge influenced, while others went into the soft pop rock direction. From time to time, they even made some experiments, like the nu metal influenced single Ghost from 2005. However, the trademarks remained their dreamy and melancholic melodies and the soft, childlike voice of Ryutaro. The core lineup was always the same, with Ryutaro on vocals, Tadashi on bass and Akira Nakayama on guitar. However, the drummer position had to be changed multiple times for a total of 4 different drummers. Relevant for our classic review is Hiroshi Sasabushi, who joined the band in 2001. With Hiroshi, they established a modern Plastic Tree sound and released some of the heaviest songs in the band history. Personally, this is my favorite phase of the band, with great albums like Cell, Chandelier or today's topic Negatobochi. Even though I appreciate their new stuff, especially Ink and the fantastic Hide and Seek Rebuild album. This iconic lineup came to an end when Hiroshi left the band in February 2009. It seems hard to find a favorite album among such an extensive discography. However, I somehow always end up with Negatobochi whenever I want to listen to the band. I can't point my finger on the reason why I prefer this album so much over the others. The title can be translated to positives and negatives, which reflects perfectly the different moods on this album. There are dark and thoughtful songs, but also some bright and cheerful moments. The generous songwriting of this 2007 album shows a rich variety of different styles and makes Negatobochi one of Plastic Tree's most versatile releases. To be fair, you would have a different impression after listening to the opener Nemoeru Mori. The song opens the album with a dominant bassline similar to Itai Ao on their debut Hide and Seek. The band plays it safe and transitions into a slow and mid-tempo song with clean guitars. Don't get me wrong, the song is strong, but it feels like a typical dreamy Plastic Tree song. Fujun Butsu brings in some guitar distortion and introduces some grunge vibes. The chorus is awesome, but the opening and the rhythm patterns take a bit too much inspiration from Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana. This isn't a bad thing though, since it's one of the best songs ever written in music history. The next song is one of my favorites on the album. Elegy is surprisingly fast and comes with punk rock influenced guitar play, which works very well with the driving drums. The vocals are catchy from start to finish. I would call this a perfect song. The album continues with the single Spiker, which could be described as radio rock. Calm verses and a slightly distorted chorus to sing along. The concept seems simple, but the success gives them right. With Sasafuri Sasanari, we arrive at up-tempo again. Not as wild as Elegy, but still streamlined and fast-moving. This time the vocals are the central element which make the song memorable. Not much to say about Muchin Iki. The song is dynamic with a good mix of rocking parts and calmer passages, but overall the typical Plastic Tree sound. Orange starts surprisingly with a few electronics, but these will only reappear at the song's outro. The song itself has alternative rock vibes. The center of attention are the drums, which stay dominant through the whole song. The computer effects and the nu metal inspired riffs make me wonder if I suddenly switch to a cassette release. Sabbath is surprisingly heavy and groovy, but becomes more conservative in the chorus. Another personal highlight on the album. With Egg we have another fast song. This time the guitar riffs shine the most. Heavy use of dead notes give the song a strong garage rock vibe. I must admit it sounds like a lot of fun to play it live. Goes definitely on my favorite list. The band refuses to slow down and continues with Reason Cairo, another song which is carried by the good rhythm section of bass and drum. The guitars have a bit of a ska feeling, at least if you play the genre 3 times faster. Kuroi Kasa marks another strong moment. The songwriting sounds pretty unconventional for Plastic Tree standards and has a lot of experimental parts like a spacey guitar solo. But they somehow make it work, especially the vocals are wonderful in this song. They sound raw and emotional. If I ever had to call a Plastic Tree song prog rock, I would choose this one. We come to the end of the album with Andrometamorphose, which returns to the melancholic side of the band. 8 minutes of dreamy vocals and dramatic guitar melodies which feel strangely hopeful. A beautiful ending to the 60-minute album. In conclusion, we have 12 outstanding songs which show Plastic Tree in their strongest form. There are 1 or 2 less spectacular tracks, but highlights like Elegy, Sabbath or Kuroi Kasa are full of creativity and fresh ideas. The songwriting is spot on and somehow always finds the middle way between too short and too long. A true classic in the Japanese music history. Worth to mention that the standard version comes with the second single Maka Naito as a bonus track. There is also a new version of the heavy monster Hate Red Dip It from the previous album Chandelier. This being said, we came to the end of this review. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please leave me a like or comment. For more content about Japanese music you can subscribe to my channel or follow me on Twitter. Thanks again for watching and have a great day.